Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Their big time money matchup. The one matchup they've got that can really assert anything else going on from other brands, particularly AEW, who they're clearly in competition with, and anyone saying they're not is frankly stupid. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar will now take place October the 21st in Jeddah, I believe, in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. Your thoughts on the fact that instead of waiting until Mania, instead of giving this to the American populace, their regular populace on one of their bigger pay-per-views, they've gone right for Saudi Arabia?
I have not watched a single Saudi show. I refuse to because, obvious reasons.
Oh, you're edgy.
I won't do it. And it's also on at like noon over here, which is next to impossible to do anyway. Like, I can't do that, and I don't want to, and I'm upset because I was really looking forward to this. The Lesnar Reigns, face heel dynamic being reversed is really exciting. And we've always said Brock Lesnar is awesome. Like, we've been cheering for him, championing for him, and now everyone else is doing it. So fuck you guys, we did it first. But they're spunking it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like, you can't.
There's no indication also whether the Universal Championship will be on the line or not either.
Yeah, that makes me feel like Roman might lose to Finn Balor. I think that's who it is. Balor at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, it's weird.
With the demon.
Well, on their breaking news tweet, from WWE's account, it even says, will the Universal title be on the line following Reigns' match against the Demon, Finn Balor at Extreme Rules? Now, either they're implying that Finn Balor could win it and they're going to go ahead and have this match anyway, or if Roman Reigns wins against Finn Balor, which obviously he's going to, is he then going to defend the Universal title against Brock Lesnar? So would it not be better, if that's the case, to put a graphic, no matter how farcical it might be, of Finn Balor and Roman Reigns saying either or will face Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, therefore heightening the possibility Brock Lesnar might be at Extreme Rules, which we know he won't because news dropped recently that apparently he's only committed to 10 to 12 dates. And that's scary considering I think he signed another year or 2 year contract, so you're not going to see much of Lesnar at all. They spunked one at SummerSlam, then they had the Madison Square Garden appearance, which is thoroughly understandable. That's the Mecca, that's the home of wrestling, especially for WWE. I think this is extremely short-sighted. There must be... This is where you bring Goldberg back to have a fucking little funny match with Bobby Lashley. Not a SummerSlam, not a WrestleMania, not a Royal Rumble. This is where you have your stupid matches that nobody cares about, but the people of Saudi Arabia will do. So roll out your Goldbergs, roll out your Shawn Michaels, your Triple H, your Undertakers, get them fucking old tripes out there. Let them do their thing, entertain the naive audience who, let's be honest, don't give a shit because most of the time they're being, hilariously oppressed by their brutal regime and government, which is frankly laughable and offensive in every sense. Please don't shoot me. Also, fuck China while we're here. But I just don't understand why you would throw this away in Crown Jewel, in Saudi Arabia. What a slap to your audience. You are currently under an extreme amount of fire from, shareholders, not to mention other competition that is really going full throttle to try and grab a piece of your market. And your response to that is to say, fuck you, North America. Fuck you, everyone else. We're going to have arguably the biggest matchup we have left. And I know they've wrestled a number of times, but this is the biggest deal it'll be. This is the first time Roman Reigns has been able to truly say he is, the money guy, the guy of WWE without it being forced down our throats. He is in a masterful role. Brock Lesnar is red hot, and you're going to spunk it in Saudi Arabia. I don't get it.
This is worse than the Bucks FTR Thursday. For me. Yeah, that's also stupid. But do you remember when FTR showed up at AEW? We're like, they can't touch the Young Bucks for like a year. I was adamant about this, and we got it like 6 weeks later. This is worse.
Oh yeah, no, this is much worse because like
this is FTR unbelievable.
FTR and the Young Bucks might have been a more internet-based big rivalry, and it was for us smart, but ultimately it doesn't matter long-term to the majority of fans. This is, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to load it up, and I'm sure, it's money. And I guarantee this show, they would have been paid an extraordinary sum to do this show. So they're thinking, well, we'll give him the biggest match we have. I don't get it. I don't think it's a good idea. And especially if they prop it up with a load of crap mid-card matches, which they are very keen to do sometimes in Saudi Arabia. I've watched a couple of these shows. I'm not going to act as if, I think it's a little bit fucking obnoxious that people are like, I don't want to watch this because of morals, blah, blah, blah. And yet, everybody has name whatever item in their home that is probably made by some sort of child labor camp somewhere in Vietnam. We all do, but I'm not saying Saudi Arabia shouldn't be held accountable for its disgusting behavior. And I will watch this, and cool for me, I guess, because apparently it'll finish at around 9-10 o'clock in the evening, latest UK time. If I'm going to be super positive about it, that's probably a big plus for us. It's about the only plus.
That's pretty solid. Yeah.
I think this is incredibly short-sighted, and once again, this is what happens. Vince McMahon's brain is clearly decaying further and further and further, and yet, the thing is, WWE has built up decades of, shall we say, goodwill and being the only real brand. Even when WCW was around, I know WCW had its time for a couple of years, but that's, if you look at the overall time scale of how long WWF to WWF has been in business, that's a blip on the radar. So everybody regards them as the wrestling thing. If I go up to anyone who doesn't know fuck all about wrestling and say wrestling, they're all going to go, oh yeah, WWF, WWE, or, Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan and Undertaker, because they don't know any better and they don't care. They're not going to say AEW because none of them know what it is. None of the proper casuals do. So WWE have built up so much goodwill and so much time of being at the top that people just kind of take it for granted. And eventually, once AEW has enough of a foothold, people are going to start paying attention more to that, to the point where you get a mass exodus of people. And these little moments seem to be happening more and more. It's almost like WWE is genuinely saying, go on, fuck off and watch AEW, because we don't give a fuck about you. Let's see how far. They've probably said, well, they've gone this far putting up with our bullshit. How much further can we go? That's how it feels with WWE now. How much further can we push people's buttons? We don't think that they have the guts to go and watch AEW full time, because Bruce Pritchard, while he's fondling Vinnie Mac's nuts under the table, is probably between gasps, saying to him, oh, AEW's rubbish, boss. Yeah, they're just pushing old guys and using all of our old talent. Vince is like, oh, okay, there's nothing to worry about then. Fuck them. It doesn't matter, because eventually people's goodwill runs out and they will just say, yo, fuck this company. I'm going to go and watch AEW, even if some of their stuff can be fucking tripe too, because they would rather watch something that's honest, even if it can be crap at times, over something that is just genuinely smacking you in the face repeatedly and insulting your intelligence, which is kind of what WWE does for the most part, which is a shame, because they've had some really, really shining moments this week that really excite you. And then they give you this and you think, it's not the end of the world. It's not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. But if it's going to jeopardize the ability to maybe see Roman Reigns dethroned at WrestleMania by Brock Lesnar, then it could hurt a lot more.
It's a very abusive relationship, like very mentally and emotionally abusive relationship, where they'll gaslight you a little bit, get you all excited and go, oh, like they'll do something bad and then give us Big E as WWE champion, like you said, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to give you Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. You're going to like it, right? And we're like, no. Oh, you like what I tell you to like.
You're watch it because I say you're fucking watch it. Like,
and then we just go, I mean, a lot of people are going to go, yeah, you're right, I'll watch it, because that's just what they do. It's awful. I hate it. I hate it.
I can't wait to see the numbers, see how well it does. I think it might be a bit of a give and take where they're thinking, we'll put this on here because it'll lure in the punters of Saudi Arabia. It doesn't lure in anyone. They'll be told to go to that stadium and they will watch it or they will be shot. That's how this works. Why are we? Do you know what? If you're going to be cunts, right? If you're going to be full on dictatorial. I don't know. That sounds like
just dictatorial.
Dictators, if you're going to basically get on board with the tyrannical leadership of other countries, then why not just fucking have shows in North Korea? Let's have fucking 300,000 at Korean Slam Town or whatever you're going to call it. Korean Crush.
I want Kim Jong-un just sitting at ringside, just clapping his apparent god hands, and everyone else claps with him because he's a god to them or something.
Just the idea that Kim Jong-un is sat at ringside while Dolph Ziggler drops the elbow and he's like, oh yes, very good. Just, yes, it's racist and yes, it's offensive and we're just as appalled. But ultimately, it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Stop catering to your Saudi market. Stop fucking disrespecting your American fans. By all means, if you feel that you must give Saudi Arabia a show because you're interested in all that sweet blood money, that's fine. Give them crap. Give them whatever. I'm sorry, they'll eat anything that's thrown at them. They don't fucking know anything about the current product. By all accounts, if you believe the rumors, the guy who is in charge of Saudi Arabia apparently wanted fucking, Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior and guys that are dead. Guess money doesn't really have any kind of boundaries when it comes to this stupidity.